What if I told you that you can increase your savings and reduce your expenses with quite simple and easy habits? But yes, it's true. And I've read somewhere that it's easy to be frugal, but it's expensive to be poor. Learning to live frugally doesn't necessarily make you rich in a short span of time. If you don't know how to manage your money properly, being rich or poor won't make a difference. People in the early 1920s became millionaires by adopting these simple habits. So in today's video, I'll share with you the 10 most effective frugal habits when it comes to being financially independent. In the early 90s, people cooked hygienic food at home to protect themselves from hazardous infections. Cooking at home has obvious perks. You can use healthier products, make sensible portion sizes, avoid food allergies, and of course save money as compared to ordering restaurant delivery or using a meal kit service. On average, ordering delivery from a restaurant costs nearly 5 times more than cooking at home. And while meal kit services are more reasonable than cooking from scratch, they are still about 3 times as expensive. So if you truly want to save money and get wealthy, this is one of the most beneficial habits of all time. Saving religiously was a key habit among many people in the 1920s who managed to accumulate wealth despite the economic ups and downs of the era. The idea behind paying yourself first involves setting aside a specific portion of your income into a savings account before you spend money on any other expenses. Assume a typical worker in the 1920s might have earned around $2,000 per year. If they followed the practice of saving 10% of their income, they would save approximately $200 annually. This may not seem like much now, but it was a significant amount back then that might be used in an emergency or as financing for greater investments. Frugal living means making the most out of available resources to save money and reduce waste. A key aspect of this lifestyle is growing one's own food. For example, during the 1920s and even into the Great Depression, victory gardens became popular. These small home or community gardens helped families significantly cut down on grocery bills by producing their own vegetables and herbs. The US government encouraged these gardens, and by 1944, nearly 20 million gardens were producing over 40% of the vegetables consumed in the US. Another common frugal practice is sewing and repairing clothes instead of buying new ones. During the 1920s, home sewing was not just a hobby but a practical way to save money. Families often reused fabric from worn-out garments to make new items, a process known as make, do, and mend, which became even more popular during the 1940s due to wartime rationing. These frugal habits indeed helped many individuals and families to make ends meet, especially during the times of financial crises, and they continue to be valuable practices for saving money today. In the 1920s, known for its economic boom, many people tried to grow their wealth by investing wisely. The stock market was particularly popular during this decade, seeing significant growth until it famously crashed in 1929. Smart investors, however, did not put all their eggs in one basket. Instead, they diversified their investments across other sectors, including equities, real estate, and bonds. This strategy, known as diversification, helped protect their money from total loss when the stock market crashed. There are many historical personalities who come to my mind, like John D. Rockefeller and Joseph Kennedy. Guys who funded such projects were probably expert dividers who knew how to diversify their savings. Rockefeller, however, was not only in oil, but he also invested in real estate and other industries. And Kennedy had invested in many different kinds of things and even had the clever strategy, selling out of many stocks going into decline. Rather than spending hard-earned money on books, publications, or entertainment, people back then made use of public libraries. These libraries were more than just books. They were community hubs where you could catch up on the latest news, join a reading group, or even attend free lectures and seminars. Community centers played a big role too. They often hosted free events like dance nights, craft classes, or sports leagues. Think about how much you could save today by engaging in these free community-offered activities instead of going to pricey private clubs or events. We can use these amazing resources to enrich our lives today, just as we did in the 1920s, without breaking the bank. In the 1920s, the concept of self-reliance and DIY, do-it-yourself, was not just a hobby but a necessity for many. Many commonly repaired their own homes and maintained their vehicles to save money. This era, despite its glamorous reputation, was also a time of economic variability, and saving money by doing tasks yourself was a valuable skill. As such, niche in the field of home repairs. People would mostly do everything from renovating torn-off roofs to patching walls. Car maintenance is another area where the DIY ethic was strong. During the 1920s, automobiles became more common, but professional repair shops could be expensive. Henry Ford, one of the most successful industrialists of the era. He famously streamlined automobile production, utilizing the assembly line approach, significantly lowering prices and making car ownership affordable to the ordinary American. This mindset not only helped him build a vast fortune, but also made his company resilient and adaptable. Bartering and trading were common practices in the past, especially during times when money was scarce or during economic hardships. This way of exchanging products and services without the use of money allows people to save money while still receiving what they need. For example, in the 1920s, if a household had an excess of tomatoes in their garden, they may exchange them with a neighbor for eggs or milk. This type of communication benefited both parties and promoted a sense of community and mutual support. Walking or biking instead of driving is a simple and effective way to save money, a practice that has been beneficial across many generations. For example, during difficult economic times in the 1920s, many individuals discovered that reducing their reliance on automobiles for mobility helped them stretch their limited resources. They saved money on gas, auto upkeep, and repairs by walking or biking instead, which can add up over time. For instance, a report revealed that on average an owner of a car spends 20 cents per mile on driving costs like gasoline and maintenance. Unlike cars and bikes, walking and bicycling have no fuel bills and only some maintenance. Let's take fixing a bicycle as an example. It usually costs much less than a car fix, and cities like Copenhagen, that are known for their high quality of life, and Amsterdam frequently advertise cycling. In such cities, biking infrastructure is highly developed, therefore more people are inclined to cycle, and those people enjoy a healthy lifestyle and may even save more money. In an era like the 1920s or any period marked by economic challenges, the ability to save on basic necessities such as clothing and toys could free up money for investment or to fund educational opportunities that could lead to greater earnings. Families that used hand-me-downs effectively lowered their household clothing cost, which might be rather significant if they had numerous children. Saving on such fees allowed them to put more money into saving accounts, equities, or real estate investments, all of which were routes for wealth growth. Hand-me-downs in themselves did not make individuals rich. However, they were part of a bigger framework of living frugally that, if coupled with wise investments and income generation, would significantly add to financial success and stability. Households found a wide variety of methods to save money during the 1920s, and a very successful one was through bulk buying and cooperative purchases. The bulk buying technique entailed buying in bulk, and this usually happened from cheap prices compared to buying in smaller amounts. Similarly, the family might buy a 50-pound bag of flour instead of a small one, as it would provide them with great savings. However, if they choose to buy a 20-pound bag instead, which costs $10, they immediately save $2 each month. These types of cooperative purchasing habits were especially beneficial during a period when many families had minimal resources. By pooling their resources, community members could afford more while wasting less. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your most favorite habit in the comments box.